Like to Dr. Sandra and her team of Pro-Life, and to thank her for inviting me to come and join you in this conference. And also would like to recognize the presence of the parish priest, Episcopal Vicar of Mitra Maria Vicariate, my colleagues, my brother priests here present, religious men and women, dear Madam Headmistress and your staff, members of Pro-Life, dear students from different schools that will be recognized. Thank you for coming, and would like to thank God for this day and for this weather. I hope God will give us a moment that will let the rain is not fall until we have finished this Mass. But I'm sure that the tents are solid enough, very firm for us to be protected against rain. At least this one is strong enough to hold big men like me. I would like to thank you for the arrangement that you have made. This is a tradition in the Archdiocese of Kampala, and we are glad that as a diocese we have a program of Pro-Life. And how proud am I that there is a group that wants life to continue. There are groups that don't like life, but can you hear me? He says this one is better. Let's find out. This is better. Got it. Technical person ya Gambia wako engineer. I welcome you to this new year, and I would like to thank you, and especially thank and congratulate those schools that excelled in the performances in the ordinary and the advanced level. And those new ones from primary who have joined the secondaries, congratulations, and thanks to God for allowing you to perform excellently. We'd like to thank the teachers. Each school these days claims to have performed better than the other. I don't know how they find out. You find all the papers these days talking about excellent performances, but I'm sure most of us have excelled. I would like to congratulate the headmistress here. She has told me that last year's performance here was also good, but even other schools that are here, and especially in our education system of the Archdiocese of Kampala, the performances were very good. I would like to thank the parents for the support and the teachers for their commitment to serve and educate and teach. We are in the season of Lent, And we have chosen to take the readings of today, the day. And we have moved forward. Tomorrow begin the fourth Sunday of the season of Lent. So we're almost there. We have fasted with Jesus Christ. We began the season of Lent on Ash Wednesday, and I'm sure many of you were able to receive ashes on your foreheads. And as you know, during the season of Lent, we have the discipline of the season of Lent. We are required to fast. Talking about fast, we shall talk about it, but also we at least have to do three major things that we should do during the season of Lent. We fast, we pray, we help others, almsgiving. Those are very basic requirements of a Catholic, of a Christian during the season of Lent. That we join Jesus Christ to fight the devil by fasting. We fight the devil by praying. We also fight the devil by helping others, especially those who are more needy than ourselves. I hope we are all doing it. And this fasting, at least for you, you are old enough to fast. The requirement is that during the season of Lent, on Ash Wednesday, we are not required to eat meat. We don't eat meat. That is the law in the Catholic Church. And on Fridays during Lent, there's no eating of meat. And on Good Friday, I don't know what happened yesterday on Women's Day, whether the ladies were not able to eat meat, those who are taken out. But Fridays are days that we should abstain. God is abstaining from eating of meat. Every Catholic is supposed to do that. And that who abstains, the babies don't abstain. Up to the age of 14, you don't have to abstain from eating meat. But after 14 years to many years, when you grow up, you're not supposed to eat meat on Friday. So if you are here and meat is served on Friday and you are 15 years old, you should abstain from eating meat on season of Lent. I don't know whether you do, but you are supposed to abstain. Chicken is also meat. Chicken is meat as well. So you on the calendar, or the old calendars that we used to have, they would show that you don't eat meat, but you eat fish. Fish you can eat fish on Fridays. But these days, even fish is dear, much dearer than meat, more expensive. So I think you can also fast on Friday by abstaining from eating fish. And the law of fasting bounds those who are 21 years and above. That means that you skip a meal a day by fasting. I don't know whether you do that. Those who are 21 and above. 21 years up to 60 years. I'm above 60, so I don't have to fast. But those who are between there, then you should fast. I think I'm the only one here who is above 60. Is there anybody else? I shouldn't ask that question, especially to ladies. But I'm above 60, and I don't think I am required to fast. The law gives me permission not to fast because of the issues that go with aged people. So that is the discipline. But the most important thing Jesus Christ has told us is not the fasting, is not the sacrifice, but it is the mercy. That we should have mercy towards others. It's not the sacrifice, but the heart that desires to be with God. So we pray during this season of Lent, which is about to complete and rise with Jesus Christ, that we do all that fasting, praying, helping others, so that we may create a better world for others, that we will be able to care for the needy people and those especially suffering and are poor. We are students, we are not rich, we are not supposed to be rich, but yes, you may not have so much money, but you may have other gifts that can help others. So please be mindful of your neighbor, assist your neighbor, help your neighbor, help the elderly, especially when they need help from you because you are young and energetic, and help your neighbor, your sister, your brother, who may not be as gifted academically as you are. Assist him or her even to perform better and perform as well, as good as you do. In the gospel today, you have heard about that story of a sinner who went to church. Two people went to church. One considered himself as a sinner. The other one considered himself as very faithful to God. He was praying every day. He was paying his tithe. He was not committing sins according to himself, and he thought he would deserve to be closer to God. So these two people went to church, and the sinner sat at the back because he thought at himself, I'm not worthy to go near to that altar. And that who considered himself as a holy person came very close to the altar, and both of them prayed. And the prayer of the sinner was, God, have mercy on me because I'm a sinner. And the prayer of the person who sat in front said, thank you, God. You created me as a wonderful person, and I'm doing well. I serve you, I love you. I pray every day. I fast. I'm not like that sinner who is sitting behind there. Oh God, you created me so well. Thank you very much. And Jesus said, when those two left the church, the sinner went with blessings. And the one who thought himself was perfect went away with a curse. Let us pray that we may be able to be humble people before God. One, there is no one who says he's not a sinner. Before God, we are all sinners. We have impurities, imperfections in ourselves. We are selfish. We hurt others. So many other things that we do against God and against our neighbor. That we are all sinful people. And during this season of Lent, I'm happy that on Ash Wednesday, many people went to receive ashes. A sign that we are all sinners and we are nothing. We are as bad as ashes. We are not worthy to be anything of trust, of value, because we are sinners. It's a moment of sinful people to be humble enough, acknowledge our sinfulness before God, and ask for mercy. And if we do that, God will be merciful and will forgive us. But pride destroys us. Before God, we should all be humble. He's our creator. He forgives us. Let us not be too proud. As human beings, you may think you are so holy, you are great, but before God, you are nothing. So let us pray for those virtues, that we may be humble before God. The virtue of helping others, especially during this season of Lent, of praying and of fasting. So I have come to watch and see, but I'm very proud that young people as you are have chosen to shun all the immoral activities that are against life. That you are pro-life. You want people to continue living. You want children to be born because you were also born. Kainari wamala abatumidde nnyo. Akyali mulamu at 97. Abagala okutuukayo ku 97 muwanike emikono tulabe. All of us almost. Abatagala muwanike tulabe. Tayagala. Mama tayagala. Mama nyawo. Kaina lwamala ndamubuuza nti oli otya kati, n'agamba ndi bulungi, sina kyenenya Katonda, ndya bulungi, nywa bulungi, neebaka bulungi, nsoma essaala, nkola dduyiro. At 97. Oyo tomwesimisa oyo. Okutuukayo is a blessing from God. You cannot sense ejja kutuukayo Katonda yajja okutuyamba kuba n'omwaka ogumu afa. But Kainari Wamala was the 8th in his family. The 8th. So he asked at one time the people at Namugongo that I'm the 8th in my family. If my mother had aborted me, would you have seen a cardinal? If my mother had aborted me, and God bless he's now 97. So let us avoid those kind of behaviors. I think this is a message. Let us promote life. Go on for life tulina. Akalala kagenda okusembayo kenjogera mu Luganda kakwepankapanka ketuwulidde mu vanjiri. Katonda wakola bulungi singa omusajja oli ali mabega omubbi atola omusolo gw'abantu atasoma ndi mutuukirivu nnyo webale kuntonda nga ndi bwenti. Yesu yagamba nti oyo yagenda talina kyafunye mu ssaala gye yawa. Ate n'okwepankapanga teryakumanyi golowooza nikyo nekutendereza kubanga weyita oli wa tteemi tolina bw'oli. N'obulaka gatono gati wa bajja kulabamu ogendi ate abalaba kwirabire. Naku ezo nagendako ensambya tukola ekisaawe kyaffe waliwo youth center kati nentambulamu ku bigere waliwo enava nengamba kanyenereyo ekisaawe kyaffe bakikola. Nze Archbishop wa Kampala n'ekipande nga weekiri Archbishop of Kampala semwogerere naye nayita mulandu nga how are you nga teryamanyi nampumira ku mukono olina kutuuka eri nga teryamanyi nentuka ku basirikale abaali bakuuma nembagamba basebo nsaba kuyingirako wano nembagamba tokkirizibwafu nembagamba lwaki nti etteeka tokkirizibwa nembagamba nze semwogerere
Archbishop Wakabra, yeah, goodbye. When any, you are not allowed to. They said, no, don't. Never take a while to take a recover in you. Never mind, I think it's part of waking your Archbishop Possible, while you wake you out. Can you know that my mind is good? What did you mind? Never know about. Nobody knows you. No, when I'm a summer, no, come and say, do attend on your Kubana, Zamporo, one, saying, attending that duty. No, German, I was so much of grudge. But government, Dayeka, Ogenda, we come, no, in the cool of Tukayu. That's the Yakumani. No, cannot bring a tax. Go on, you attend on your Kubanga, you see a true Kubanga, go single Kogera, Kubanga. Na yete yaku ensike ugenda kukuba Katonda yekka yali waggulu. Tusaba Mukama atuyambe tubeere beetowaze kubanga netulina we tuli. Katonda yatusitula ne tubeerako we tuba tutuuse. Omukama abeere nammwe.
To country leaders in Luganda. Tusabire abakulembeze b'amawanga naddala eryaffe Uganda bagoberere ennambika ya mwoyo mutuukirivu okuteekawo entereeza mu mateeka n'entegeka ezirwanirira obulamu bw'abantu bonna. Tukikusaba Ayi Mukama.
Don't taken heed. Oh, we are doomed. Thou few of us see so. Promiscuity is our code of conduct, and proud are we with it. They, the parents, the teachers, and religious, have done their work, but to no avail.
We the few feel this is the time, this is the moment to reawaken our consciences, to mind about the unborn, because every life matters.
How? What are we going to do about these LGBTs?
We have forgotten. We no longer need the DC, but the DC. We now need a disciplinary counseling, not a disciplinary committee, because our lives are full of copying everything.
Oh, pocket money.
Pocket money for what?
For
For me,
breakfast.
we pocket money. Eh?
No.
Can you pack your things and you go to school?
Okay, fine.
I will beat you if again ask me for pocketing money.
But don't worry, Father will give us pocket money anytime from now.
Oh no.
Even though tomorrow.
We are not forgetting. Oh no.
You're not the one, but they will give us.
No, don't tell me, don't tell me.
They will give us pocket money, even though tomorrow or any day.
Don't tell me.
Who are you? Who are you to us?
We are who are we, man?
Who are you? I've said you are. Well, come we go to school. Come we go to school. You want to resist? Come.
You leave us, you don't have money, you are like our father.
Hey, young boy, is money our problem? We have some money, but you have to first take some. Take some and we give you money.
Okay.
Oh. Easy. Oh, malo kulia okayiwamu. Ona. Simanyi. Naye kale. Engeje tubone tuli ku lugendo. Tweyiweyo.
So much for hosting us. I also have part of my connection to this school because my wife is an OG here. May I ask her to stand up for recognition? Oyemchala Doctor. Yeah, she's also very good with singing. She was on that choir that sang Moseno Funyemuchi. She can even give us an a cappella. All invited guests, students, patrons, and everyone here present. I'm so happy to be here. I'm happy to talk to students, particularly because not so many years back I was a student. Just recently, 1988, I was a student, senior one in St. Peter's SS in Zambia. Are you here, St. Peter's? I thought St. Peter's SS in Zambia was here. We need some vibe. And about 30 years back, I hope I'm right, in 1995, I was at Makerere University in pro-life. Then I was in pro-life movement of Makerere University. So it's such a coincidence that I'm celebrating an anniversary, that I come to you to give you a message on pro-life. You also may think, where will you be 30 years from now? Will you be giving a message like me? Or you may be in another place, depending on the decisions you take and on your relationship with the drugs. Madam Sandra, Dr. Sandra, thank you very much for involving me in your ministry, in our ministry. I'm so honored, I'm so humbled, and I'm so privileged. Thank you. There is a lot that I can talk about drugs and substances because it's my passion. If there is an addiction that I may have, it is the addiction to treating addiction. I've been doing this for 20 years and I decided to go for a doctorate to understand the science of addiction and how you can treat people to recover from addiction. But I only have 40 minutes and I will use them very well. Hopefully I can even use fewer than 40 minutes so that you can also write some questions. I have seen from your presentation that you know a lot about this. So I'm just putting an icing on the cake. I will spare a few minutes before the end, maybe 15 or 10 to answer your questions. But briefly, I'll talk about Hope and Beyond, what I'm doing. I'll talk about a few terms. I'll talk about routes of administration, stages and levels of use, the common drugs that young people are using, their effects, and how you can keep off the drugs. Hope and Beyond is an organization that we started about 12 or 13 years ago to restore hope to families and individuals who are broken as a result of alcohol and substance abuse. Myself, having been part and parcel, having grown up in a family where there was addiction, and I lost two of my lovely relatives. I lost my auntie and I lost my father, not the biological father, but you know it, Tato Muto, uncle. Tata wango muto yafira butabika. Yali akozesa nnyo omwenge ebiseera ebyo kati butabika alcohol and drug unit. Abamanyi butabika ng'eddwaliro ery'abalwadde b'obwongo. But when you use a lot of drugs, you'll end up in Butabika. So he was using a lot of drugs. By then, the alcohol and drug unit at Butabika was not there. It was just thrown there. And after some time, he died. We never even had a chance to bury him. Because they picked him along the streets, threw him there, and then after some time he died. Then we learned a lot later that he had died from Butabika. We even tried to ask where he was buried. They couldn't tell us, but he was there in the records. Then I have an auntie who died because of liver problems. She was a regular customer in those small places. And having experienced this auntie, she was so loving. However, sometimes when she would come back under the influence of alcohol, she was harsh. Sometimes, in fact, I thought that this father here also uses some drugs, because the way he was reacting in the family mimics, is similar to an abusive parent. He was very loving. The auntie was very loving. She would hug me. She would, you know, she was so tender without drugs. But the moment she could drink alcohol, the love would go. She would batter you. Echirosa wanga tano mukaga nga akomawo ng'omulirira eri wala nzija munine. Then she would call my name, David Gulawo. The entire village knew my name. Gulawo nzija awaka byaja. And then she finds the door widely open. Then she asks, why is this door open? Do you want thieves? Do you have a plan with thieves, with the wrong people? Okay, you go out, join them, and you spend the night out. Around 3-4 o'clock, she's looking for you. Where is he? Alcohol has now gone down. Oliwa, domana abendi aluwa. she doesn't even remember she's the one who closed the door on you. So having gone through that, and I almost lost hope myself. You can leave it. I almost lost hope. I almost went to the streets. Yes, there are times when I really wanted to go to the streets. I realized that there are so many people in this country, so many young people who are suffering the same way I was suffering. And some of them only cope by taking drugs. Abana abato abava mu family z'abantu abakozesa ebitamiiza balowooza nti engeri yokka gye basobola okubeerawo mu bulamu bwabwe yakukozesa bitamiiza.
Omwenge tegukkirizibwa abo bali wansi myaka 18.
Webala akalanga ako. So we started hope and beyond, to restore hope, to give hope to people like you, to fight this vice of drunkenness. And I said, okay, if my auntie and uncle were alive, they would not have died in disgrace. They would not have died the way they died, because they would have been treated. And we have a vision to offer training and internship to all people who are passionate about this area. We are located in Impigi and Rubaga. And as you've come pro-lifers, you are protecting life. You are fighting for life from the time of infancy, from the time of conception to the time of natural death. Omukama wasalirawo. You will learn that even in the womb, substances attack that child. And you will learn that we have lost so many people because of drugs. So what a befitting moment, what a befitting theme. I want to applaud and congratulate the pro-lifers for thinking about this great theme. Thank you very much. What is a drug or a substance? Anything that affects your brain. I could say central nervous system. Ekintu kyonna ekikosa obwongo kibeera kiragalagala. But we know some things substances which affect the brain. Maybe like sugar, glucose. There are other ways of classifying a drug. And it changes your moods. It changes your behaviors. It changes your feelings. Obwongo engeri gye weewuliramu ne byolowooza. That is a psychoactive substance. How are these drugs administered? Some are swallowed orally, swallowing, chewed. Others through the nose, snooting. You saw those guys smoking marijuana? Others pull through their nostrils. Others injecting. And here they can inject in the veins, they can inject in the muscles or under the skin. Others apply it as Vaseline, topical. Enaku zino eriyo ebiragalagala bye batundira mu bisigo. Gosanga akazigo akalungi abaana bawala mwagala nnyo okwebyula. Obusigo obulungi simanyi obuliko kati. Oba ka ambi kakyaliko. Ka ambi kavaako. Basenga bange ke beesiiga. Tebakalabanga nako. So be careful. Things are coming in, even in kind of what? Vaselines. And others are applied even in places which I don't feel comfortable mentioning out here. Kakati mwe abaana abakozesa ebiragalagala oba abandyagadde okozesa ebiragalagala, mumanye nti the moment you experiment, you are on your journey to being an addict. No one is born as an addict, because there are stages. Abantu bonna batandika, the experiment, you saw them, you try it. If this boy coughed and stopped there, he would not have ended up killing the father. But we don't even want to experiment. That's why we are here. So many times the experiment, then social use. In the evening, you go, you join your group. For us, when we are growing up, this vice was there. Young people would meet around playgrounds. Your Grace, I am very happy that you have transformed the play area around in Zambia. I grew in that area. Very, very close there. There's a gentleman, is now late Lule. Then there was a lady there, Anna Maria Mkasa, then a lady Desire Sona, the child of Desire Sona. So, very near there is a ground where you went and the security bows to you before they realized that you are the patron. There was a bush. And some of the people on the village, while we are going to the school, they would divert and go to that bush to do two things. They play cards, and the other one to smoke drugs. And they would say, Fetuta bush. So that was the social use. Some of these people are no longer there. They have died. Others, when I find them, they were bright, but the kind of jobs they are doing. Bavuga taxi. Ata sichiyisa amuchi maso. Omulimu sigunyomye. But they could also be doctors like me. Because we were working together, attended the same class. And I don't know whether someone is going to invite at a big function like this and say, Katuito muvuzi wa taxi, oba muvuzi wa chigari. Wheelbarrow pusher, to inspire. So my dear girls and boys who are here, this is very important for you. The moment you experiment, you end up as a social user, then it becomes a habit. Before you know it, it is now an addiction. What are some of the common drugs that you use? I'll give one class. Ebiragalagala ebimu ebichamula obwongo. Muno mulimu sigala, taaba. Sigala oyo nja mwogerako kubanga mu abaana abato mweyinidde nnyo kakuba ne shisha. Awo nja kubawo nnyo. Mulimu caffeine oba kaawa ne ice. Mulimu cocaine, cat and mirror. Those are the drugs that excite the central nervous system. Now, let me talk about Cuba, because that is very common. I won't talk about all the drugs because of time. Cuba, akapapula ka Cuba akafanana nga amajani. The package where Cuba is put looks more or less like that of tea leaves, but it is disguised nicotine. It is smokeless. We call it smokeless nicotine. It does not smell. So katigoboli ndoli sigala awunyanga sigala. Cuba does not smell. This Cuba is sold in Indian shops, and they will tell you it's a mouth freshener. Cuba is packed in small circuits and it is very cheap to get. And you are told that when you take Kuba, you will concentrate. Why? Because it's a stimulant. It keeps you alive. They will tell you you will read longer. And indeed, you may spend the whole night awake, but reading quantity and not quality. Bano no balaga ebitabo bye wasomye ekiro. That you finish 4 or 5 books, but you cannot master a sentence in there. That is what Kuba does. It will keep you awake, believe me. But you will not master anything. I want you to know that Kuba is 4 times more nicotine concentrate compared to ordinary cigarettes, and it's highly addictive. Ekirungo nicotine kyekirungo ekikyusa obwongo ekiri mu taaba. It's a psychoactive ingredient in tobacco. So in Kuba it is 4 times more concentrated. Kuba is dangerous. Let me talk about shisha. Ono shisha abakolera nnyo abavubuka b'ennaku zino. They believe it is trendy. Abali balabye ku shisha muandike ku mikono. Put up your hands if you've ever seen shisha. Or you know shisha. No, don't worry, we are not going to say that you've used it. But if you know it, hey, not so many. Hey, so I have a lot of education to give. Chivera chisania, it is like a pot. That pot, they put a tube. Amarwa mugamanyi. Have you seen people using long straws to sip marua? The same, there is usually a long pipe from the pot into the mouth. This pot is heat with fire, and the gas that comes through is treated midway with various scents and flavors such as orange, apple, pineapple, mango. Bw'oba onywa shisha oyinza okulowooza nti oli ku kibala ky'olya because of those flavors. But in shisha is actually nicotine. Sometimes they put cannabis yenjaye or opium. A shisha session lasts 20 to 30 minutes. Era abanywa shisha babagamba nti bebakozeemu bebaliwo, because one shisha session it costs about 30,000. Shisha ono, one session of shisha is equivalent to consuming 100 cigarettes. Baramuulira mu dakiika 3 oba onywedde eminwe gya sigala emeka? 10. What are you doing to yourself? And you'll find young people having 2, 3, 4, 5 sessions. I want to talk about drugs that depress the central nervous system. Waliwo ebiragalagala ebyebasa abantu. The commonest is alcohol. Omukulu yakubya akagambo n'agamba nti omwenge tukukola ki? Tegutundibwa eri abatanaweza myaka emeka? I would say 21 years. In fact, for the last 20 years I have been in this ministry. I have also spearheaded some advocacy efforts. Some of you are hearing about the alcohol bill. Parliament. I am very proud to say that I am one of the people who have championed that bill. Thank you. And in that bill, we're even suggesting that the age is lifted from 18 to 21. Because your brain, science has it, that your brain continues to grow until the age 21. Gambling has been put at 25. Your grace. No buwombeefu. Omutima gufukamidde. Your grace insaba. Bw'oba ofunye akadde konna eddoboozi lyo olyongerezeeko. Kubanga etteeka lino abakozi b'omwenge kubanga bo batunuulira sente, they are only looking at profits. They are not looking at the young people that we are losing. They are fighting it. And the only reason they give is that it's going to destroy the economy. But we are losing so many young people. I know that if the Catholic Church comes out and speaks about regulating alcohol in Uganda, I know that something, the parliament will listen. But we need this law, not at 18, but at 21. I have a child. I have 4 children. The oldest is 19 years. And he is in senior 6. When I look at him, he's still so dependent on me. Emotionally, physically, psychologically. He's so dependent on me. He's so vulnerable. And they are saying let them take alcohol at 18 years. They can. So one time he's going to come back staggering into my home from school with a bag. After all, the law allows him at that age. Our education institutions, they are teaching children who are 20 years. How are they going to relate with those students who come with alcohol and they are 19 years because the law permits it? When I talk about alcohol, I also talk about what we call date rape drugs. Abana bawala mumpulirize nnyo essaawa zino. Kano mweka nakategekedde mmwe mweka se date rape drug. Temukawulidde date rape drug. Thank you. There is a drug called Rohypnol. That drug is a tablet. But once that tablet is put in any drink, the drink won't change color and it won't change smell. But it will sedate you. This drug has been very common in US, but has found its way. Now it's common in Kenya and slowly percolating Uganda. Abana bakola parties, room parties, binge parties, I don't know what. Sometimes you think you are taking a soda, someone will just get this tablet and put in your drink. You will not know what has happened to you and they will use you. Be very careful the kind of people you hang out with, because this date rape drug, Rohypnol, is now taking root in Uganda. I'll talk about opioids, painkillers. You've heard of pethidine. You've heard of cough syrups. Do you know that cough syrups have a bit of opium in it? We call it synthetic opioids manufactured. In my 20 years experience of treating people with alcohol use disorder and drug use disorders, I have treated people who are addicted to cough syrups. Don't say you were not informed. Of course, these drugs also have other medicinal uses, but once they're not administered by the doctors, be very careful. Marijuana is also common. As time is not on my side, allow me to talk about the medical effects of these drugs. We have what we call intoxication and withdrawal symptoms. Rapid pulse, craving. About craving, mujimanyi. Do you people have dogs, or have you seen dogs? At such a time, how a dog would behave with its tongue, it would have its tongue out. So there is that big desire that will push a person to use or reuse a drug known as craving, more or less the way you see a dog panting for water at such a time. Severe muscle pain, diarrhea and vomiting. Pain, let's talk about opioids again. Abana abobuwala nkomyewo erimwe. Bwe mubeera mu nsonga zammwe, abamu muwulira obulumi. Some of you experience pain during your periods. That is normal. But some pain may be too deep. And you may be tempted to try these opioids because they are pain killing. In fact, if you ever succumb to that temptation and you take these opioids, like pethidine, batera mu abantu bagenda bavudde mu labor for a short time, surgical procedures. When you become addicted to it, you will even regret why you couldn't bear that pain. Because the secondary pain that you are going to get from the pethidine abuse will be no match to the primary pain you incurred or you incur for 2-3 days. So whenever you have such challenges, talk to the people who are around you. Talk to the doctors, the nurses, the counselors. Don't just swallow anything. Kakati withdrawing from opioid, someone can even think they are going to die. You should come to our rehabs. You will find a very old man crying, and yet they have not been beaten. Omusajja omukulu emyaka 45 nga akaaba nga tewali amukubye. But because of the pains as a result of opioid withdrawals, just withdrawing from opioids is very painful. And I challenge teachers here to find time once in a while to bring these children to rehabs, just to see, or to invite us, especially those ones that are experimenting. Bring them just for come and see. They may get awakened. Heart disease, low pressure, because some of these drugs suppress the what? The central nervous system, like alcohol. Stroke, lung diseases, pneumonia, respiratory depression, fever, smoker's cough. Oli asobola okukolola nga talina any infection, but it is the smoker's cough. Because every time you smoke, you fill your respiratory pipes with tar. I don't know whether you know what tar is. Ekirungo kye bakozesa okola chorus. Bachita batya? That's why we have tarmac. That black ingredient. Sometimes we have that tar fe abakulira mu Ghana mafumbira agatali ga.com. Bamama bwe bafumbanga omunyale ogwakwatanga ku bisenge byefumbiro, that is tar. So when a person smokes, they fill their respiratory pipes with tar. So you find them coughing all the time. They can't even get medication for it because they have their lungs are busy clearing the tar. We have dental problems, cut. Amayirungi mugamanyi. bagagaya ne bagagaya ne bagagaya oli abangazi obwenkulumu. Chewing the card. You might think someone is chewing the card, but they are chewing Mairunji. Why? Because it takes 5 to 6 hours for someone to get a high from Mairunji. Alina oganunira esawa nyatano obongo bukolechi, but it's producing acid in the mouth, so you end up with dental problems. We have liver diseases. Do you know that alcohol is associated with over 200 disease conditions? Omwenge gwekuusa ku ebika by'endwadde bimeka? 12. Kati n'abakulu mu kunywa nga mukola ki? Tetubagaana kunywa naye onywa okola ki? Olekamu. Atagunywa nga nze tojja kufa. Tojja kola ki? You won't die. I have not tasted alcohol for 30 years. Am I not normal? Don't you think I'm enjoying life? I think I'm enjoying life. So you won't lose anything by saying I'll never take alcohol in my life. Instead, you will save a lot. Of course, there are other effects, but because of time, I'm not going to finish all of them. Instead, I will share this presentation of mine with Dr. Sandra, who can also share it to the schools so that children can discover more. Ate mbasaba mumpite ne bambate mudina transport mukolechi nze nja kweteekamu. Headmistresses and what you have a habit of saying we don't have money to bring you people here and we end up losing. So you tell your patrons that Dr. Kanema said even if you don't have money for transport, he will transport himself. I will come. Let me talk about women. Again, yesterday was Women's Day. We have what we call telescoping. Telescoping means that women are more adversely affected by alcohol and drugs than men. Era bw'obeera n'eccupa z'omwenge n'ozuwa abakazi oba abawala n'abalenzi, abakazi bajja kutamira mangu ku basajja. Yeah, that is the fact. So ladies, you are more vulnerable. Impact of drugs on the unborn child. Opioids, they can cause spontaneous abortion. So we are here talking about protecting the child from infancy, but if you are using some of these drugs, like opioids, even excessive use of alcohol, this child can die. And when you deliver the child will have, if you are likely to deliver the child will have what we call withdrawal symptoms. Akano kazala nga nako kaguli. Omanyi omuguli tabula. Amaaso gaba gamyuse, enviiri ziswenyuse. Oli akuba bulungi akala n'agamba omunyi waki tabula. N'akaana bakazaala nga keekyanga kabeera mu Labour Ward nga keekyanga. Ne kakabirira abantu. And they may be with these withdrawals up to 2 months. Allow me to finish the effects of drug use by talking about mental health. These drugs can cause mood disorders, anxiety, insomnia, that is lack of sleep, paranoia, emotional blunting, they tell you your auntie died, you are not even shedding a tear. You are just there like this. You saw that. Depression. And I want to know that the leading cause of suicide is what? Depression. 7 out of 10 people who commit suicide, they do so when they are depressed. And most of these drugs actually cause depression. Hallucinogens. Notandika okulaba ebitaliiwo. Owulira amaloboozi. Then you start calling yourself, you are the king of what? Of Nigeria, or you are the president of this. So many people actually even, that's why I said they end up in psychiatric institutions. Kakat, my last section is about tips. I want to give you some tips. I have talked about the dangers of drugs, though I have not finished them. Naye njagala mbawe tips nga 5-6 on how you can prevent, live a sober life. Number 1, don't start, don't experiment. Can you tell your friend, don't start, don't experiment? Hey, thank you. My neighbor has also told me here, be careful not to experiment. Because some of these drugs like ice, I didn't talk about ice. Methamphetamine ice. What drug ajemuita ice? Abayimbi bebagikozesa. Ebawa amaanyi for 12 hours, they're just jumping up and down. 12 hours. Ice. Methamphetamine. You may take it once and you'll be hooked to it. But energy tulimu, it's not for experimenting. Experimenting is too expensive, especially with drugs. 2, if you are already using, like I know many of you here could already be using, you can stop. The earlier the better. The earlier the better. And they say, some of you may say, but we've been using it for some time. Okay, better late than what? If you've not started, don't start. If you've started, the earlier you stop, the what? If you've been using, better late than what? Better late to stop than never to stop at all. The 3rd tip, avoid sensations and unnatural excitement. Katonda yatua enough hormones to be excited. We don't need to enhance them. Because what drugs do, they open up in abundance the excitement hormones, dopamine. Dr. Sandro Yabimani. Tunaze tuta feel good hormones. So kakati zino hormones we tukosa drugs nga say yongera mu mubiri nga ziba nyingi, there are so many and you feel excited. And when you are not using the drugs, they go away. So there is no need for us to be excited with extra hormones. Let us use the already natural hormones we have to feel excited. Don't look for sensations. Be yourself. Stay away from users and dependents. Some of you think that you are going to do what? To help them. Murowoza bambi kangende mbayambe. You are not professional enough. They will pull you down. It is easier for them to pull you down than for you to pull them up. Stay away from them. Don't succumb to intimidations and malice. They will intimidate you to Jakuta. Some of you come from very well-to-do families, and some drugs like heroin, cocaine, just a small bit like this is 30,000. So these drug barons, they are targeting those big schools, international schools, or children from well-to-do families. You can keep a 30,000 on a daily basis. And they can threaten you. They can even say we shall kill you. we shall harm you. Don't succumb. Report to them, to people who are responsible. To your teachers, they will know what to do. Finally, always remember that drugs kill dreams. Ebiragalagala bitta obwongo. Always remember that. You are doctors in making, you are nurses in making, you are teachers in making, you are engineers in making. We don't want to lose you. We want you to be the kind of people that God wanted you to be. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer one or two, that is if I have time. Otherwise, thank you very much.